Hello everyone. Today is Sunday, 27th of December 2020. Once again, I'm trying to renew that kind of idea of making videos every Sunday on different subjects. Maybe I'll try to even go start getting more live, but probably not gonna happen, but we hope. And today I wanted to talk about fat people and exercise. Right? To do that, I just poured myself a glass of Pepsi. Here we go. Let's have that drink. So, I'm a pretty fat person. Not super fat, but fat enough. I'm around 40 kilograms overweight. You know, even if I drop that 40 kilograms, I'm still gonna be qualifying for a super heavyweight match in boxing, but nevertheless, I'm quite overweight. And after all the stress and things like this, I finally settled in my flat, finally sorted out lots of things, lots of stuff happened. And in the last couple of months, I went okay, cool, I'm going back to exercising because over my life I still exercised quite a bit. I went back and started jogging again. For God knows how many times did I started, but this time I'm actually sticking with it. Last couple of months I've been jogging on reasonably regular basis. And then it came to me I was listening to another talk about some athlete giving advice on exercising and things like this, and you do this in 5 minutes and you're gonna be the super athlete, whatever. And I went okay, why is it that so many people, a few other things have happened, why is it that so many fat people struggle to keep up with the exercise routines? Why is it they, even if they start, right, after about a few weeks or a month, they drop out? What's going on? What is it that is ends up making people just drop the exercises, just go okay, it's not for me? And I looked back at my own experiences. For the last few years, dozen or so years, I've been a bit overweight, but I constantly exercised. But there's been a couple of times where I'd stop, so I'd gain weight or I just become a bit more sloppy than I usually am. And I look back at my experiences. And I decided, what is it that, in my opinion, makes fat people stop exercising? Number one, this is one of the things which people already talked about a bit, but still not get impressed enough. No pain, no gain. This approach to exercise where people say, look, unless you really kind of go for it, right, you're not gonna achieve anything, right? This is the stupidest approach I have found to ever fucking exist to exercise. Seriously, guys, I'm one of the people who been exercising for quite a lot of life. I went to the gym, and you see people who go no pain, no gain, right? And you tell it to the person who have not exercised for a very long time, seriously, you are not encouraging them. Exercise should be a pleasurable experience, right? Some of the ways I got back into exercises was to start literally shooting hoops in basketball. I didn't even play games, I literally just would go out. It was just my way of chilling out and just doing some exercise, right? I would just go to the basketball court and start shooting. Right? So every exercise people do must bring some sort of pleasure. Right? So going out for a walk for 2 miles is better exercise than going for like this 2 hour stint in the gym and then being then not going to back to gym ever again. Okay, doing a light jogging for like a mile. That's what I do almost every evening. I go jogging for a mile, just over a mile, 2 kilometers. That's all I do. I could do more. I could really drive myself and do 6 to 10 kilometers. It would take a long fucking time, and next day I would not be able to do it again, and then I would not go back to doing it for like 2 3 days. So doing exercises in enjoyable way in small portions is something that needs to be done. So when people come to the gym, when I went to the gym, I had a set of exercises which I could do within 20 minutes. They were not making me feel like as if I just lifted a freaking car. They just made me feel pleasantly, like pleasant ache in muscles. People who've done exercise, they will know when you kind of go like, yeah, I've done some exercise, but it's not something that killed me. I can actually get out from the gym, maybe stretch a bit, and continue on with my day. Right? So we should stop no pain, no gain. Second thing, which I have seen, which puts people off a lot, is when you're trying to get into exercise, general attitude from fit people. And there's a lot of fit people that are willing to support you. But there's a lot of people who you go to the gym. For example, the reason I kept on going to the gym is the gym I went to was 24/7. And I could go there at like 12 o'clock at night. There was nobody else there. Right? And I didn't have to compete with another stupid fit person. I'm not going to use the C word. For using a machine that I wanted to use. I'd go into the gym, I'd go in there for 20 minutes, and I don't want to be fighting with anybody. There's one case in there where I came in, there was a super fit guy doing some stuff on the machine. Some of the stuff he was doing, he was the same stuff I did. They said, look, while you having your 3 sets, you having a break, do you mind if I jump in onto a machine? Right, he started gobbing me off. Right, I'm an athlete. Right, you're like not an athlete. Right, just wait till I'm finished. I didn't mind. Like I didn't feel like arguing with him. I could do weights twice that he was doing, but for me it was like literally just everyday thing that I did just to keep my body going. Right, like I said, the exercise should be pleasant. It's there not to make you super fit or anything else like this to start off with. Maybe after you've done a year worth of normal exercise, which keeps you just happy, you will transition to a more serious one, but you're starting off on a level where it's just something nice to do. Right, but fighting with the fit guys is like shit, guys. Just walk away. I walked away. It was late at night, so I went on, did other machines. Sure, it screwed up the order of things that I've done them to my usual one, but it wasn't anything major. Right, but having to this kind of super competitive guys, as if he waits for extra half a minute for me to finish my set, it's gonna change his entire world. Fighting with him is just ridiculous. Sometimes as well, like I know when I'd go to a basketball court, like getting into a game when people come in there and they want to win, right? So getting into the game was a bit of getting on the team was a bit of a problem because I wasn't a super cool player, right? Over time, people started to get used to me and I started getting more game time. But to be honest, most of the game time I've received as well, I was lucky. There was a basketball court. I lived in Brighton and it's on the Brighton seafront in England. and it's a lit court, so you can go there during the late hours, which I quite often did. I would either go shooting hoops, or sometimes there'd be people who come there like after 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, like Friday, Saturday, weekend, and there would be like only like 5, 6 of us, like, so we'd end up constantly playing. That was the time when I mostly got the playtime, but it's really hard to get into actually doing things if there's lots of super fit, super competitive people around. One of the reasons I like shooting hoops, I didn't depend on that. Right? Another thing, overall advice from professional athletes. Now, that one is quite often, to be honest, ridiculous. I watched a program of somebody who's like really fit person, good for them, and he was advised and say the title of the program was do this over 5 minutes every day and you will become a fit person. I was like, okay, cool, I'll watch it and I'll see. So he explained the exercises. Exercises are actually not so bad, but I have an extra 40 odd kilograms of weight. That's on top of my normal 100 plus. Okay? I'm not somebody who does lots of exercise. And at that point of time, I had a bit other things, so I was very unexercised at that point. So very much like many other overweight people, trying to do those exercises, right? I've managed to complete the set in 40 minutes. Right? I did. Right? If I completed the set in the same time that this guy completed those sets, I'd spit my lungs out. Okay? Just plain and freaking simple. Right? I would die on a freaking sport. That stuff is suitable for the fit people. Or for at least for not somebody who's overweight and who's looking into maybe gaining some muscle. Yeah, fine. That stuff probably is going to help you. For an overweight person, that stuff is not going to help. People need to start kind of thinking like, hey, maybe I should put on like a bag with like 40 kilograms of sand in there or something like this and see how I can do these exercises with that on top. And that's for a fit person. Right? For me, just getting up out of the chair, right, is the same as people squatting with like 40, 60 kilograms weights. I've squatted to 40 today. Ha! I'm squatting this every time I'm getting up from the chair. So I'm doing this quite a few times a day. Makes me pretty strong. Not very fit, but pretty strong. Right, so many of the fit people, like the advice they give you for the exercise is, again, it's not gonna work even if they feel that, look, it's pleasurable for me, I can do it overall. But if you do tell it to a person who's like twice your weight, and a lot of that weight is not a muscle weight, they will struggle. It will not work. So the person is overweight who tries to do this again 2-3 times a week, and then they just gonna give up because the stuff is not working out. Alright? But all of this, literally all of this, is nothing compared to the last thing. And the last thing is people who wish to do well by you. Some people might pretend they do, but nevertheless, people who are your friends, your family, people you care about, people whose opinion plays some role in your life, those people are the worst transgressors of them all. Right? Let me have a drink. Just to piss off the transgressors. but they are. And I'm gonna share a couple of stories from my own life. So, a few years ago, after having a bit of a stressful couple of years where I did not exercise and allowed myself to slip, some stuff led to me going like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start exercising again. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy a basketball and I'm gonna go shooting hoops. It was a very stressful time for me, and literally doing that overall literally saved my life at that time. I usually say that it was a cartoon that saved my life that drove me to that idea, where I watched a cartoon about people playing basketball, and I was in like really big trouble, and I had my last five quid, 5 pounds at the time, and instead of buying a bottle of vodka, I bought myself a basketball, and I went and I started shooting hoops. Right, and I started taking part in the basketball games as well. You know, people were not too keen at taking me playing as first, but it still allowed me to start getting my head screwed on back right. So I was doing the exercise I really enjoyed. It was not super stressful, it was not super heavy, but anybody who shot hoops, if you say like, you know, you shoot hoops like 3 pointers from basketball for half an hour to an hour, it still makes you feel like, you know, you did some exercise, right? Each time the ball drops, you have to run or at least walk rather quickly to catch it. You sit down, you pick it up, you get up. So for me at that time, it was a great exercise which allowed me to as well switch my brain off from my other trouble. Now I went to the court, it was a good exercise. At some point of time, I made a trip to see my parents. Right? And I was talking to my mother and saying, look, you know what? I was like, you know, I started doing this exercise. It really helps me, really makes me feel good. You know, it's really good. It's like I started getting back to feeling like a normal human being. And my mother, in her desire to make me move more, to do more, and to be more healthy, said, that is not enough, son. You know, you should really start going to the gym. You should really start doing proper exercise. Right? That's what many fat people get. Like, you really should start doing proper exercise, right? The fact that you go out, you know, you take yourself for a 1 mile walk and back, so let's say 2 miles, right? Carrying your extra weight, which is quite often equals to the weight of that freaking person that tells you that shit, it's not enough. You've got to do more. Right? By that time, I was like, yep, okay, mom, yep, great, I will do at some point of time, but right now, I'm just gonna pick up the ball and you can stay home, and there's a basketball court just down the road. I'm gonna do some shooting. You want, you can join me, we can have a chat. She never did, but, you know, I just went like, look, I don't care. Many people, especially when they're overweight, they usually become overweight through other issues. And when you're struggling with other issues, and you come into your family and friends and say, hey guys, you know what, I started doing this, you know, it started to feel me good, and you kind of half expecting saying, people say, wow, it's good that you started doing it. It's all you want to hear, right? You know, it's like we're looking forward to seeing your results, and like, you know, how you go and do it, and you know, it's nice to see that you're feeling all up and bubbly about it, right? People want to make you better, right? Another example, just recently I was chatting to a friend, and I did mention, I said, look, you know, like, I've been so stressed out, like, and now I've started like going for a jog. I run a particular way, not very fast. I do only like 2 kilometers. but it really helps me clear my head. Let me have a drink. And what it also does is it makes me sweaty, right? It makes me sweat out all the stuff I've got stored up on my skin, and it makes my body to work better. I feel better. I feel more like more aware. Still not there yet, but still feeling much better, much more capable than what I was before I started doing this. And he wanted to make it better. He said, look, you know what? If you really want to get the running to work for you, right, you have to really run at least like 5 kilometers. Right? It wasn't like, and it's not that he didn't mean it as a bad thing as well. And I was like, look, man, you know what? Like for me right now, 2 kilometers is more than enough. I'm double your weight. So sorry, bro. If somebody's been running for like so long time and they weigh, I don't know, 70, 80 kilograms, they can go running for 5 kilometers. I weigh nearly double that. So definitely double of 70. So for me, 2 kilometers is enough because I do have to run a particular way as well to not damage my knees. I don't want to be running for 5 kilometers for like a week and then not running for the next months because I fucked up my legs. But that kind of attitude, like again, he was not like, oh, doesn't matter that you run. He was more in a way that, look, if you really want to do the best result, you should run. So, but that kind of attitude, quite often, again, people who only starting the exercise, right, who finally found something that they enjoy doing, right, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's, I don't know, having a game of table tennis, people who never play table tennis. So the guy's like, look, it's one great thing. You found somebody to play with and they're having fun with. They go, I finally found the exercise which makes me happy. And they come out and they want to share it with their friends and say, hey guys, look, I found the exercise. It makes me really happy. Right? And the people who really mean well say, dude, this exercise is not really an exercise. You really need to go to the gym. You really need to get on a diet. You really need to do this. You really need to do that. And they really fuck it up. Quite often, staying in the exercise, this is quite often, I would say, the biggest hurdle for people who have not been exercising for a long time. Right? Again, they already went past of no pain, no gain thing. They go like, look, you know what? I just want something which I enjoy. If I don't gain anything, except just feeling myself a little bit better in the morning, I'm happy with that. So they went past that. They went past of when you try and going for a jog and somebody laps you 5 times by the time you finished your first lap, or but you finished your lap, right? That's what that matters. Or if you try to go and have a game of basketball with some people and they said, look, dude, you suck, so we're not gonna play with you because we want to win those games. And you maybe found the time when there's only 5 people on the court, so you can have a game of 3-on-3 without having to swap teams. Or you found the time when you went to the court and you simply brought the ball and you spent an hour shooting hoops. My experience, I'm talking from my experiences, right? and you found and you started doing this, and then you share this with people who you care about, and their reaction is, dude, this is not good enough, this is, or not good at all. You have to do some shit we came up in our fantasy land. This is the thing which quite often takes people off, right? As being a good example, there was a gentleman who tried to put on weight, which he did, and then he tried after like 6 months, like he started, so he spent like a few months on that weight, and then he started trying to drop that weight. It was his experiment, right? And he himself found how struggling he was. And that's the guy who loves exercise, who's built his life around exercise. Imagine people who are stressed out about other things, right? So if you're listening to this and you're overweight, right? Bollocks to them all. Seriously, it's a matter of finding something that you enjoy doing, whether it's walking, whether it's skipping, whether it's, I don't know, like I say, for my example, go and shoot some hoops, whether it's simply like half jogging while kicking the ball around the block a couple of times, whether it's going to some place where you can play some table tennis with people, or doing anything physical, right? Don't go for this kind of mindset of no pain, no gain. Yeah, for the first year, 2 years, you're gaining by simply getting out. People are gaining, like if you have not exercised for a very long time. People's gain, people should understand that their gain is by simply getting out. Like now, these days, I go for 2 kilometers, I run for 2 kilometers, I do my stretching, I do a little bit of other things. It takes me 40 minutes, and I come back home and I feel that I can go on for another few hours, and I wake up next morning and I feel myself like, yeah, I feel okay. I don't feel in pain. I feel that I can go on and do the same that set again and again and again and again. When people come to the gym, if you want to go to the gym, the biggest problem is again people trying to take a person who has never exercised and put them in the professional for kind of exercise regime. Like, you have to do 3 sets of this, you have to do 5 sets of that. To do this with 3 minutes breaks in between. My general advice, look, if somebody starts telling you that, just tell them, look guys, I want a 20-minute program that I can do every day. I'm going to feel nice after doing it. I'm going to get a bit sweaty, I'm going to get work out, I'm going to feel that my muscles have started working, I feel this, and that. And I want to feel good at the time of leaving the gym. And I want to feel good next morning. Right? I don't care about a super gain. This is what many people forget to say. You go, I want to exercise. Exercise in its own right is gonna over time build up and give results which you can build upon. Right? And the hardest hurdle to jump over with, like I said, for me, for many other fat people, is, look, if you're their friend, if you're a family member, right, do not, especially if you're a family member who does sports or who is more active or who probably maybe had less shit to deal with over the last 5 years, do not put your fantasies across onto your friend, family member, whoever, right? Okay, if they're happy about things they're doing, be happy for them. Right? If the person is happy to go walking around a swimming pool for half an hour, simply get into the water and just go walking, making circles. Right? Making like, I don't know, 1,000 meter walk in the water. And this makes them happy. Be happy. Right? Be happy to the point that they feel that they can continue doing it. Because my example, personal example, I'm talking from my experience. Some other people I know that the experiences they had is once they started exercising, like when I started playing shooting hoops, I then went on to play basketball, right? I met some great people doing that. But after a while, I went on and did go to the gym. I didn't go there, like I said, being a professional, like athlete. I only would go there, I had a gym which was comfortable for me to go into, and I only went there for 20 minutes at a time. But I did go to the gym. Certain things happened. I moved to Germany, and last few couple of years have been hectic, right? If I didn't do that, I probably would have been a much fitter person now. And I probably spent not 20 minutes in the gym, but at least an hour. But these are the things that build up. These are not things that happen magically. Right? And overall, they are the ones that kind of keep or don't keep people in the exercise regime. Sure, we are talking about some other people who kind of put it their target and they go all out. Yes, but they are a minority. Majority of overweight people that do this, they end up falling out of the exercise. Because for these four reasons. Right? And overall, you have to be no pain, no gain. You have to do this super exercise. No, you don't. Right? You get some muscles around, and sometimes it really puts people off. Right? Just be nice to each other, especially if you're a professional athlete, or at least doing it constantly. Right? I understand we all have bad days, but we should all put in an effort. Bad advice from people who are already doing it. Right? Again, who say you can do this for 5 minutes. No, you can't. Right? And on one major one, even though it goes on the smallest finger, but it's the major one, is people who you love and care about, who are your friends, right, wanting to do better, and in the end coming across as complete fucking assholes. Right? Just be happy for your friends. Okay? I hope that even if at least one or two people listen to this and change their attitude towards their friends or family members who are trying to exercise and trying to become better. If it helps at least a couple of people, I hope it does. And on that note, I hope that next year is going to be all better for us. So thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye.